Alright. Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game. Tekko versus TBC This game taking place here on Autumn Leaves. On the top right hand side of the map, we have TBC spawning as the red undead player. Meanwhile, on the bottom left hand side of the map, we have Tekko spawning as the orange human. Orange kind of blending into the landscape here on Autumn Leaves. The mini map, we'll see if it gets in the way. I can always turn off the terrain, but let me know what you guys think out there. All right, so thank you all you guys out there who have listened to my subscriber requests, getting not getting negative subscriber counts. As I'm sure some of you guys are aware, apparently a lot of the people who have subscribed to me are old time bots that are still getting cleaned up. So yeah, if I actually got 60,000 views per video, that would be pretty amazing. Would definitely be able to do a little bit more with the channel, and then try and branch out and do some things. But yeah, is what it is. Can't relive the glory days. Can't move forward. Constantly looking back. All of those little wisdom short tidbits trying to get a point across. Anyways, Tekko going to be opening things up with an Archmage. Meanwhile, going up against a Death Knight. No surprises there. There's that Tomb of Relics. There's a second Ziggurat. No graveyard as of yet. As the Altar of Darkness, well, at that 2-minute mark should be cranking, or 2-minute 15-second mark, I believe, since it is a little bit later, should be able to crank out that Death Knight. Now, with that said, it seems like Tekko is going to be staying close to home at first, perhaps militia clearing, trying to get to that critical level 2. Death Knight and Undead generally has some options. Undead can try and delay his opponent's hero, or is it going to be the 2-minute 10-second mark? Yeah, looks closer to the 10-second mark. Can try to delay his opponent's heroes, or try to do some creeping of his own. Selling of that Scroll of Town Portal, generally a good sign that, oh no, he is actually moving out and now going to try and do a bit of delay here. You can see the Death Knight just running around in circles, double backing around. What is this? What is TBC doing besides wasting time? Unless that was like a double head fake, trying to make it look like he was doing one thing and then another in front of the eyes of the footman. All right, almost going back to retreat and make it look like you are retreating. Oh, the purge on the water elemental instead of the purge onto a footman. A little bit of a misstep there. Tekko losing a good amount of hit points on that water elemental here, and well, any lost water elemental is just going to be a delay in creeping later on, as we see a manual of health is being left behind. TBC did opt to go ahead and try to do this fast expand into the center portion of the map. This is extremely aggressive, and well, it really will come down to whether or not Tekko saw that the Scroll of Town Portal was sold and additional blight was built, and there is blight here, for him to figure out there is an expansion underway. Archmage going to try to go after this Kobold Geomancer creep camp. Remember, one water elemental was taken down prematurely, so this creep camp could have been cleared out much faster. The Kobold Geomancer is spreading around all of that cold, as the ghouls are going to be running inside here. There's no guard tower. Tekko is just completely wide open here, as all of the militia are now going to try and fight back. All right, skeletal minions taking a little bit of damage. Militia now being forced to pull back here. And what is this going to do? This is going to cause a little bit of an issue in terms of lumber, right? If all of these peasants are currently off of the lumber line, well, that means that it is going to be greatly reduced amount of lumber. So trying to speed build and upgrade this guard tower is just going to be that much, or upgrade into an arcane tower is just going to take that much longer. Death Knight, however, needs to regroup with the rest of his army, perhaps try and get some damage across all of these units here. You can see the militia are able to push back these ghouls. Remember, militia actually having decent armor and decent damage with a fast enough movement speed to move around easily. Now, what is the Death Knight's follow-up here? He's already teching the not teching the tier 2. He's already training up enough acolytes. He's going to have 5 acolytes up on his expo here. we're looking at lumber not being an issue. Look at the worker count currently sitting at 16 workers as the ghouls are going to once more make their way back. TBCBM is a little bit of problems on his own lumber here as the Death Knight trying to chase after the Archmage. But this is a problem for TBCBM because he does not have level 2 on that Death Knight. He's just moving without that little skip in his step from that unholy aura. That slightly slower movement speed is translating to slower response times, which is translating to Tekko finding enough time to be able to set up this expansion. Well, hi PhD, don't know what that... Oh, that's a Todd. Alright, yawn. Feels Todd's watching me everywhere. Alright, coming back through. Water Elemental, a couple of footmen. The ghouls are going to try and swarm here. No militia at the expo. Remember, this was a balance patch many years ago. Before, anytime you built a town hall, you could call to arms there. And what they found was that, well, human players were able to hold that expansion much more easily than, say, any other race. That could be one of the reasons why the meta has shifted so much. Death Coil onto the Acolyte right there. The Acolyte, going to build a Necropolis and now go back onto Blight. The Nerubian Tower, what is this? The Acolyte getting pathing in the way. And now, is he going to force a Scroll of Town Portal? Acolyte now getting back onto Blight here. Low hit point Footman going to be able to teleport back home. We see full saturation on this Haunted Gold Mine. Another Necropolis, meaning this is the 11th Acolyte. Not something you see very often. A lot of low hit point ghouls now retreating back. Archmage is sitting at level 3, going to be forced to buy, boots of speed, and now head off to north here, try and shut down this expo. It's not very often you see the human player behind in terms of expansion and tech, but that's exactly what TBCBM did here as we're looking at a Spirit Tower now trying to get added in. Death Knight now sitting at level 2. Ghouls are going to be coming in, swarming back in from the north. New round of ghouls. Acolytes are just going to be trying to swing around here. And remember, we are on a Blight. So while on Blight, the Acolytes actually regenerate a fair amount of hit points pretty quickly. You can take a look at this guy. It looks like he has a ring of regeneration, and he's just hiding in the back. There's a Death Coil there as the Water Elemental now trying to get into position. One Acolyte does get taken down. I believe we are now down to 9 Acolytes here as the footmen are trying to clean things up. The Necropolis, however, is nearly done, and we are going to see perhaps a burst of experience for the Death Knight here, as the Death Knight going to be gaining a lot more experience, as this is pretty much an all-in from Tekko. You can see that the Necropolis is now done here. Let's look at these footmen. One footman down, another footman about to get taken down. There goes another one gets taken down, and we're still seeing more footmen trying to retreat back out. This is just going to be a feed into TBCBM. Are we going to see a Death Coil for the kill there? No, we are not. More ghouls are getting taken out as well. Archmage is at 3.5. There's a Death Coil for a save, as the Death Knight is just trying to, continue to gain a little bit more experience here. I thought the Death Knight could have gotten to level 3. There's a Death Coil for the kill there. I think 1 or 2 low hit point footmen were able to retreat back. Meanwhile, additional Acolytes are being trained. We're at tier 2 now, and now going straight into tier 3 as the Lich is getting trained up. We do not see a Slaughterhouse as of yet. Meanwhile, Panda is also trained out on the battlefield, being purchased. At the tavern means that he gets to join the fray quickly compared to having to train up at the Altar of Darkness. All right, instantaneously building of units. One of those aspects that I'll talk about this another time. Anyways, coming back across, Death Knight is sitting at level 3. Has, Chroma Ring of Protection +4, as both sides are continuing to fight as well. Let's take a look. Breath of Fire coming across here. Death Knight now trying to go after some of these units. The poison now getting spread across all of the undead units. So this is going to be a major setback for the Death Knight here. Death Knight could get a Death Coil off on that low hit point footman and then just try and give chase. No, he lets him go. And I'm not sure if TBCBM realizes this, but perhaps he wants to save the Death Coils for the heals, as we're still looking at a Death Coil now finally on the Archmage. Archmage should be able to get away pretty easily because of those boots of speed, and now the Lich is out on the battlefield here. the Lich just a split second earlier, or perhaps 3 seconds earlier, would have ensured the death of that Archmage. Instead, just being forced to try and clear out this Forest Troll Warlord creep camp as the Lich gets a little bit of an overheal here. Lich only has 475 hit points at level 1 as the Lich could have some problems. Healing wards are down. Archmage could be in trouble. There's a Death Coil, or there's a Frost Nova. Well, Death Knight doesn't have enough mana for a Death Coil here. Water Elemental's trying to push across once more as we see healing wards quickly placed down by TBCBM, but, well, you gotta hold onto those healing wards and use them much more effectively. Meanwhile, Death Knight does have enough mana for a Death Coil now. Are we going to see a little bit of home field advantage here? Yes, fighting on a Blight. And TBCBM is just well, using these forward outpost positions in order to... Well, let's see. Death Knight, 2 more shots onto that ghoul. 1 more shot. Water Elemental should be able to deny it. Yes, able to do exactly that. Meanwhile, the Water Elemental himself is going to be taking quite a bit of damage as, well, TBCBM gets a Dark Ranger as the 3rd and final hero. With an Obsidian statue inbound, TBCBM could have easily been using that mana a bit more aggressively. Instead, I believe, is it placing down Essence of Blight? Yes, it is. There's that Lich. He went back to get that Orb of Corruption. And now, well, pressure at the Expo. Town Hall here, Dark Ranger, perhaps a little bit of damage. Well, Arcane Tower going to get a little bit of feedback damage here. We're going to see a little bit of heal. And this is one of those situations where the Obsidian statue, if you micro it, can provide Essence of Mana and Essence of Blight pretty much at the same time. There's a Breath of Fire. Lich now out on the battlefield as well, and this is going to be a lot of damage as we're looking at the peasants looking to repair this blacksmith, and there is no masonry upgrades. 1 peasant now down. Low hit point ghoul gets blown over with Breath of Fire. There's a Frost Nova. Are we going to see a Death Coil? No, we do not. Staff of Sanctuary brings him back home as the Crypt Fiends are down and perhaps should be trying to get Web. Oh, this would be an interesting call here. We're looking at the Dark Ranger getting feedback by that Arcane Tower as the Crypt Fiends are coming down across to try and put pressure onto the Arcane Vault. 66 supply compared to 57. Army sizes, well, definitely in favor of TBCBM, but there is a lot of static defense here for TBCBM to try and get through. Well, Guard Tower easily going to get shut down here. 1 Guard Tower now down. Could move on to that Arcane Tower pretty easily as Knights are now out on the battlefield. Knights do not have the Sundering Blades. Paladin is out as well. No Mountain King. So Panda for Breath of Fire as we see a quick Death Coil onto a Crypt Fiend to try and retreat back. The Knights are still charging, diving in onto that Crypt Fiend along the backside here as we're still looking at more damage. Holy Light finishes off of Crypt Fiend. The Exterminator with the Paladin Holy Light, but what is that going to mean for the Paladin? He's quickly going to get taken out. Paladin falls at level 1. Meanwhile, Obsidian statues are retreating back. Panda could get some easy Breath of Fire across those Obsidian statues, perhaps try and finish them off as the Lich is going to get taken down as well. Level 2 now on the Brewmaster. Brewmaster currently low on mana as the Archmage has not trained the level 2 Brilliance Aura yet. That is a major, major mistake. Let's take, yes, level 1 Brilliance Aura still. That Archmage has been level 4 for an extremely long amount of time, and yeah, Tekko losing out on a big amounts of mana for that Panda could have gotten perhaps another Breath of Fire off there. Finally gets to level 2 Brilliance Aura, but, well, perhaps 50 to 75 mana that could have been on the Brewmaster during that battle was missing. All right, Archmage with that Staff of Sanctuary. Human army, very important to note, does not have the get out of jail free card. No Scroll of Town Portal. Similar case for TB. No, never mind. Take it back. Lich is the one holding the get out of jail free card, and the Lich, well, purposely walked back, picked him up, and now ready to move on forward. All right, still using that Staff of Sanctuary pretty regularly to try and keep the rotation alive on these Knights while keeping mana on that Paladin. Undead, getting ready to try and clear out another quick creep camp. There is 3 Obsidian statues here. We're looking at Forest Troll Berserker getting taken down. Dark Ranger and Lich both get a double level up while clearing the creep camp here. Meanwhile, the ghouls have dove on in and is now trying to take down these towers as they're getting constructed. 1 guard tower while being upgraded, taken down easily as we are now looking at a tactical retreat here. Are the ghouls going to be able to fall back? It looks like 1 ghoul escapes at 7 hit points. All right, a lot of low hit point peasants lost or cleaned up here once more. Low hit point ghouls should now retreat back to the north. That is a lot of ghouls. Surprisingly, the lower hit point one now going to go back to work and regenerate some hit points and get back out onto the battlefield. Dark Ranger, well, looking to crank out some more of those skeletal minions. Ghouls are trying to swarm, but that's what the Panda is here for, to try and get some breaths of fire across all of these units. Brewmaster down to 450 hit points. One obsidian statue down, as just so much damage coming back across. There's a healing ward being placed down across multiple ghouls, but that's quickly cleaned up as well. One obsidian statue down. There's another breath of fire. Obsidian statues now need to retreat back as the Death Knight falls back here. Are we going to see perhaps an abomination with Disease Cloud? Remember, also the ghouls do have a roar, so that is a 25% damage bonus for 45 seconds. But, well, unless they're attacking, that damage bonus means absolutely nothing. Main bases have about 6 minutes of mining left. Let's take a look. Oh, the main base of Tekko is pretty sparse and wide open. This could be very bad news, as the Ultra of Kings getting cleaned up already. Massive repairs coming over across as well. Are we going to see some damage as the Ultra of Kings down to 200 hit points? There's a healing ward, and this is exactly the time for TBCBM to use it. Oh, the Arcane Tower auto-attacked it. Beautifully done by Tekko, realizing, well, those healing wards provide a lot of cover or a lot of hit points, but are extremely fragile themselves. Death Knight now continuing the charge here. Abomination does have that Disease Cloud. A lot of militia trying to fight back here. 72 supply compared to 70. And what is going down? A Death Knight now trying to push back through. Knight's Panda trying to make their way back over. Panda does have, well, level 3 now and that Medallion of Courage. So that is a lot of mana. So a lot of mana onto a Panda. There's a quick heal there as the Panda needs to get into that front line position. Are we going to start seeing some possessions? That is the key. That is going to be the key right there. Possessing a couple of knights would be a big deal as the Paladin falls at level 2. All right. Tekko is up against the wall right now. Could be in a lot of troubles. Where are those Banshees? Are they going to try and possess? Not quite sure why. The mortar teams are just trying to fragmentation shard down out of this tough position as the Archmage gets to level 5. This is an absolute bloodbath on all accounts, as the Dark Ranger going to fall, giving level 4 to the Panda. There's a breath of fire blowing over. Are we going to see another Knight killed here? There's an auto attack onto the Knight, giving level 3 onto the Lich. Lich now needing to retreat back as well. What happened in that fight? Multiple Knights were on the battlefield. There were plenty of Banshees, no possession, and everything lined up for TBCBM to close the door on the game by taking away those Knights and then allowing those Crypt Fiends to do their thing. But instead, the game rolls on. Death Knight taking a little bit of feedback damage here. There's some arcane, anti-magic shell, quick death coil here. Water elemental quickly going to get cleaned up. Those Banshees adding in quite a bit of magic damage onto a negative armor unit. All right, what's happening here next? Panda going to come across, get a breath of fire, get a little bit of damage onto those Banshees. Banshees now just draining the mana out of that obsidian statue. The obsidian statues, the glue that was holding TBCBM's army together, really well targeted by Tekko. Tekko going after those obsidian statues, and meaning that the undead army is just not able to bounce back nearly as quickly. Water elementals, those big, massive behemoths of, pool water, dealing large amounts of damage and able to push forward. Meanwhile, what's happening here? Ghouls now coming back around. We're looking at some low hit point. That is a low hit point Abomination. Paladin now out here onto the battlefield. Is it going to be able to make its way over? Yes, it is. Or we need to see an anti-magic shell or a death coil onto the Lich. No. Lich gets blasted down and gets taken down right there. Meanwhile, Staff of Sanctuary is still saving. Tekko doing a great job trying to save up some of those lower hit point units. Dark Ranger back out onto the battlefield as some easy Abominations could get taken out, which could give even more experience. Are we going to see a Breath of Fire off to the north here? That would do a good job. There's a Breath of Fire. Staff of Sanctuary saves. There's some Knights who turned coat are now red as the Abominations, need to just get blown over. Panda needs that Breath of Fire and is he going to be able to get it? Yes. 2 abominations in 1 breath of fire, giving level 3 to the paladin. Now level 2 holy light. Abominations still absorbing quite a bit of damage. Anti-magic shell. There's another breath of fire going through. Another knight getting taken down as the archmage is sitting at level 5. Panda sitting at level 4. Paladin now on line here, using a divine shield and using up a clarity potion as well, trying to chase after all of these targets again and still pushing through. All right, Crypt Fiend continuing to push through here as well. Arcane Tower trying to defend, but not going to be able to do that. And it looks like Tekko is going to hold on as the Obsidian statues were rallied to the wrong part of the battlefield. That is a lot of glue, but the army cannot just be made of glue right now. The Death Knight and Dark Ranger by themselves, no Crypt Fiends, nothing else. And, well, a quick Staff of Sanctuary right there, saving that saving that potentially possessed knight. All right, knight getting teleported back here. Gonna go ahead and get regrouped. 3 minutes of mining left. Only a minute of mining left at the main base for TBCBM. And how is this all going to unfold? 55 supply compared to 72. Death Knight now trying to lead the charge in here. Anti-magic shell going to try to continue to press on in. But there's no there are banshees, but there's not much else out on the battlefield. A couple of Crypt Fiends. The Lich is out here as well. Death Knight taking a lot of damage. Needs to figure out where to go because he has no way to easily heal. Being forced to retreat back as we see a low hit point Crypt Fiend able to back away just in time. Alright, Death Knight has anti-magic shell, getting healed up. Perhaps going to try and actually clear out this top left-hand side of the map, set up an expo. We do see Knights with Sundering Blades and Animal War Training for TBCBM. Going to go ahead, go after this engagement here. Death Knight still needs to heal up. Obsidian Statue. Wow, there's a lot of yelling first thing in the morning in my house right now. Kobold Geomancer are going to get taken down here. TBCBM could try and set up an expo. Yeah, moving an Acolyte already across the map. This last base a little bit further away. Meanwhile, Tekko may need to take this center base, bringing the fight closer. This is going to be a rather tough spot as the Death Knight here is going to get to level 5 perhaps. The Lich and the Dark Ranger are going to get that much closer to level 4, and this could open up some opportunities. Remember, Tekko has had the experience lead throughout this game, nearly level 6 now on that Archmage. And what is going to go down here? Death Knight getting up to level 5 would be a very, very big deal. As we see, Claws of Attack +5. Yes, also that Chroma Key Claws of Attack +5. Archmage, Paladin, backing away, trying to give the Brewmaster level 5. That is going to be, well, a big deal once more. Knights diving in again. We could see some easy damage. Yes, Flying Machines getting taken down here. Arcane Tower trying to feed back the Lich, but that does not work when you have Anti-Magic Shell as the units are just trying to retreat back here. Obsidian Statues are actually in a rather uncomfortable position. So are the Crypt Fiends. This is not a good, well, battle lines for TBCBM. His units seem to be a little bit out of position as the Knights are trying to protect the mortar teams here. All right, all the Crypt Fiends, however, able to do quite a bit of damage. We're seeing a Staff of Sanctuary trying to bring back some units. Mortar teams trying to rejoin in on the battlefield. Level 6 now on the Archmage. Archmage goes for level 3 Brilliance Aura over Mass Teleport. The Obsidian Statues are not with the Undead Army, so they're not really holding anything together, but still able to blast down a level 6 Archmage. Death Coil Frost Nova never counted out against a human army, especially one led by such a fragile hero as the Archmage. Obsidian Statues are still providing a little bit of cover in the back. Death Knight needs to get closer to those Obsidian Statues as a big breath of fire nearly blows over three of those Obsidian Statues. Brewmaster could continue the charge here. Are we going to see a little bit of damage? The Obsidian Statues need to retreat back. They realize how, well, TBCBM realizes how important those Obsidian Statues are in holding this entire army together as the Panda now comes across. He's going to try to breath of fire. There goes one. There. Come on, there goes two. Are we going to see a third one get taken down? That Obsidian Statue, all 3 Obsidian Statues cleaned up. That Brewmaster cleaning house. 9 supply worth of Obsidian Statues instantaneously gone, and now that opens things up for the Archmage. Archmage gets a Holy Light, says, you know what, I'm feeling better than ever, as the fight now getting underway here. We could see a Staff of Sanctuary use quickly onto perhaps a Knight here, as the tables are turning again. Tekko back up to 55 supply compared to 39. So many lead changes. Dark Ranger gets a big heal here as we see a surround. All right, surround. There's a Staff of Sanctuary for the save. Archmage could be in a little bit of trouble. Dark Ranger actually ends up surviving. There is another Holy Light again as the Death Knight finishes off another mortar team in the backfield. The Banshees with just plenty of anti-magic shell here, providing plenty of cover. Auto attacks, perhaps enough to finish off the Dark Ranger. Yes, it is. And TBCBM loses his level 4 Dark Ranger here. All right, Death Knight unable to get the Death Coil off, finishing off a Knight instead. Breath of Fire pushing back the other way. And now that the Brewmaster is now being supported by level 3 Brilliance Aura, you can see the mana just constantly ticking up, and how much AoE damage is being translated to that, to the Brewmaster, or from the Brewmaster there. All right, in terms of mana efficiency, the Brewmaster's Breath of Fire it really eats away at the anti-magic shell quite a bit, right? The Mountain King's Thunderclap could do a similar thing as well, but I think the Brewmaster has a much better range, and because of that superior range, able to hit more units and then whittle away at that anti-magic shell. Paladin sitting at level 4. Death Knight, Lich back together. Are we going to see a Drunken Haze? No Drunken Haze onto any of those units, as we are looking at a little bit of long distance mining by Tekko. TBCBM, his one main thing going for him is he is still running on 2 bases, but that base is about to run out of gold soon, like in the next 20 seconds or so. Battle in the center portion of the map. Death Knight, Lich, 54 supply compared to Tekko's 64. Army size, well, Tekko having that advantage there, but all TBCBM needs to do is hold on to this expo here long enough and then punish this this walk of shame, so to speak. What does Tekko need to do? Tekko needs to put up and apply pressure onto this expo into the top left without losing too much back at home. There's still 3 minutes of mining left here. It makes sense for him to attack, knowing that he's going to be running out of gold. He doesn't necessarily need to hold on to this expo, and he'll have the larger army. Big Breath of Fire across all of those acolytes here. Units are trying to engage, finish off here, and we're looking at a low hit point Banshee getting absolutely splattered. Knight's going to clean up all of these acolytes here, and then the Nerubian Tower is now going to be gone. Level 6 now on Tekko's on Tekko's Panda. 2 level 6 heroes and a level 5 going up against a 5-4-3. Units are simply retreating back. Acolytes joining in on the fight to try and clean things up. You see one Knight back trying to take down this haunted gold mine, as the Panda now making its way down. All right, Banshees looking to clear up this triple barracks strategy, being able to crank out all of these Knights in an effective time. Now, what does TBCBM have going for him? Well, he needs a lot of Banshees to try and possess a lot of Knights here. Breath of Fire trying to blow over that anti-magic shell did not work. All right, what is going to end up happening? Units could be turning back around. Is the mass Banshee army, is that exactly what TBCBM needed, as a single Frostworm actually out on the battlefield as well? That is going to be some big damage. That Frostworm down to 900 or 800 hit points, dying quickly, gets a big death coil for the save. Banshees will need to start diving and trying to possess some of those targets. There's one, there's a Staff of Sanctuary, there's another. That's going to get quickly changed into a different target, and now here we go. One Knight getting possessed here, another Knight about to get possessed. That's going to get Staff of Sanctuary as well, but losing all of your Knights is not how you want to do this. Tekko now in trouble, as we see another Staff of Sanctuary coming across. 3 Staff of Sanctuaries charges, but now the Paladin going to be in trouble here. Divine Shield needs 6 more seconds, 5 more seconds. Nope, not going to get it. 4 seconds shy on that Divine Shield, and that was the problem there. All right, 53 supply compared to 36. Tekko suddenly losing much of his army here. Earth, Storm, and Fire trying to hold things back. Archmage still, well, Staff of Sanctuary in the back here. Death Knight could clean up this Archmage since it can't do anything else right now, and this Archmage will fall at level 6, and with that should be the game as the Death Knight gets to level 6. It would be funny to see Animate dead. I don't know what corpses are out on this battlefield, a couple of knights perhaps, but that is going to be the game. TBCBM outlasting Tekko, who had some opportunities. TBCBM also missed some early opportunities with that early possession. Those Banshees dove in, and still, well, the Banshees dove in and didn't possess early on, and Tekko, well, brilliantly made a very strong comeback, nearly winning the game. Ultimately, in the end, though, a TBCBM with an army of Banshees, anti-magic shell, and well, being able to just simply outlast, adding in one Frostworm to slow down those knights so that they couldn't run away quickly enough, essentially getting possessed. Yes, we saw a couple of Staff of Sanctuary sending those knights back home, but those knights were then out of the battle, and that's what TBCBM wanted, forcing his opponent into a situation where I lose a Banshee, I gain a knight, or that knight is out of the fight, and well, things just started to fall apart there. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below.